Up now is Republican Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana. Senator, thanks for joining me tonight. So give it to me straight here. Is this corporate greed that's driving prices up, or is this bad fiscal policy and monetary policy from the Fed and from the White House? What is it?
Well, I heard the president's press secretary say that, and she's a very talented person, but if she believes what she says, she was in the quad playing Frisbee during Econ 101. The president also says that COVID caused inflation. Now, I'll admit that inflation is spreading, but as one commentator put it last week, people aren't walking around coughing inflation on each other. Our inflation right now is caused by the fact that the federal government is spending and borrowing breathtaking amounts of money with more on the way, and you've got too much money chasing too few goods. And I am very worried about this. Inflation is a very pernicious tax. It's especially tough on the middle class and the low-income Americans. It's going to cause the Federal Reserve to have to act more quickly than it would like, and by that I mean it's going to raise interest rates, and that could throw us into a recession. But I'm not sure the Fed has a choice, because once that genie of inflation gets out of the bottle, it's hard to get it back in. We're just in a heck of a mess here. And if we pass Build Back Better, it's going to be like throwing kerosene on a tire fire.
Well, and Senator, this is my concern on this conversation, because the White House wants to say, inflation is coming from corporate greed, number one, or inflation is the problem of the Federal Reserve. If they don't recognize their own role in the spending binge that they've been on, they're spending like drunken sailors, you can never fix the problem, which is this massive spending that's been taking place over the course of this short 11-month Biden administration.
Well, I've heard what the White House is saying, and I get it. They're just pulling it all out of every orifice they have available because they've got a problem here. I think it would be more honest to just deal straight up with the American people about it. That is, this is the truth. We had to spend a whole lot of money to keep the economy from crashing from COVID. I voted for it. But this last COVID bill, the $2 trillion bill, that President Biden insisted on, which was not a COVID bill, was the tipping point. And now he wants to spend another $5 trillion and borrow $3 trillion. And business people are looking at this. Their suppliers are raising their prices. People are sort of panicking, going, well, I need to raise my prices. And the Federal Reserve has to do its job and try to cool this thing off and raise interest rates. And that's going to hurt the American economy.
It definitely will.
If the president would just pull down Build Back Better until inflation is back to 3%, I think the American people would support him.
You're in your job because you care about people, Senator, right? You want to make sure that people are taken care of. And when you see people at the lower rungs of the economic ladder, people who are spending more to fill up their cars, spending more to put food on their table, they have less money to go to the store and maybe buy something for Christmas for their spouse or their kids. And so not only is that bad for the American family or the Louisiana family, it's also bad for these stores, Senator, that are trying to, reboot themselves after lockdowns, shutdowns, mask mandates, vax mandates, and try to get up and run again. This is bad for everybody, isn't it?
Yes, it's very pernicious. It's food, it's clothing, it's furniture, it's energy. I don't like to brag about the expensive places I've been, but I went to the gas station this morning. I mean, here in D.C., it's $4.50 a gallon. Out in California, it's $5. It's going to be heating oil this winter. The president, in his Build Back Better bill, wants to hit the natural gas industry with an $8 billion new tax. Well, you know who's going to pay that? People are, consumers. So when you're freezing to death this winter, or you lose your home and you're stranded on a beach having to eat seaweed, remember, we're building back better. I mean, this is just not the time to spend $5 trillion and borrow $3 trillion.
It's not.
And what the president ought to do is say, look, Inflation is out of control. I'm going to pull this bill back until inflation is back to 3%.
Listen, I couldn't agree with that. I agree 100%, Senator. Also, we do have to look at the Fed. The Fed has a dual mandate. They are supposed to have full employment and stable pricing. We're at an inflation of almost 7%. They have not been doing their job. People like you have been calling them out for years about these bad policies. Thank you for joining me, Senator Kennedy.